World now. Joining me on WION Newsroom, Adya Janeja, who will take us through developments from the world of business. Minat Shah, who will get us all the update on the developments in tech, and Atra Sasidharan, who will get us all of the updates from the world of sports. We begin by going over to Adya. Over to you for business updates, Adya.
Well, thank you, Josna. Here are the key trends shaping market sentiment today. First up, gold, silver and platinum surged to fresh record highs amid growing uncertainty around the US economy. A weaker dollar, down about 1% this week, added to the momentum by making metals cheaper for overseas buyers. Analysts say confidence in US assets has taken a hit, driving sustained inflows into precious metals. Expectations of 2 Fed rate cuts later this year have further boosted the appeal of gold, while silver is also gaining from strong industrial demand. Now, in contrast, Intel shares slid after the chipmaker forecast quarterly revenue below market expectations. The company cites inability to meet surging demand for AI-related server processors. While demand from data centers remains strong, supply constraints and factory inflexibility are limiting near-term gains. Intel says it was caught off guard by the speed of AI-driven demand even as it ran factories at full capacity. The company's turnaround story remains intact, but analysts note that supply is delaying a full financial recovery. Moving on now, India's private sector began 2026 on a strong footing, with the HSBC Flash Composite Index rising to 59.5 in January, beating expectations. Growth was driven by stronger domestic demand and a pickup in new orders across manufacturing and services. Hiring also resumed, though modestly, after stalling in December last year. While input costs rose to a 4-month highs, firms passed on higher prices, lifting output inflation. Business confidence improved ahead of the February 1st budget, reinforcing expectations of sustained economic momentum. And finally, the Bank of Japan held interest rates steady at 0.75% but raised its growth outlook and inflation forecast. Policymakers said a virtuous cycle of wage and price growth is strengthening, even as a weak yen risks pushing up the import cost. One board member bagged another rate hike, highlighting growing internal momentum. Expectations are that BOJ could raise rates again if inflation pressures continue to build. And that's a wrap from the world of business. Now for the tech updates, it's over to you, Miraj.
Well, thank you, Adya. Now, Apple has asked the Delhi High Court to stop the country's antitrust watchdog from seeking its global financial records as part of an investigation into its App Store policies, while it challenges the underlying law's validity. Apple is locked in a high-stakes legal battle with the Competition Commission of India, whose investigation accused the company of abusing its position on its App Store. The US tech giant has said that it fears it could be fined up to $38 billion if the watchdog uses its global turnover to calculate a penalty. Now, according to a Wired report, Google DeepMind is bringing in the CEO and top engineers from voice AI startup Hume AI under a new licensing agreement. Now, the move is what is called an acqui-hire, where Google is going to absorb all the talent rather than buying the company. It's a strategy that has helped big tech avoid regulatory scrutiny. Now, Hume AI will continue operating and supplying its technology to other AI firms, while its core team joins DeepMind to enhance Gemini's voice features. And finally, the clothing and fitness app company Under Armour is investigating claims of a major data breach after a cyber criminal posted millions of customer records on a hacker forum. The data was allegedly stolen in a November 2025 cyber attack, which the Everest ransomware group claimed responsibility for on its dark website. Now, the breach came into the spotlight after breach tracking platform Have I Been Pawned notified around 72 million users that their data may have been compromised. Now, according to a Reuters report, the stolen data includes names, email addresses, gender details, dates of birth, approximate locations, and purchase information. That's all we have for you from tech. Now for sports, it's over to you, Athra.
Thank you so much, Miraj. Here are the top sports stories we're tracking for you at this hour. We'll begin with tennis first, where world number 1 Carlos Alcaraz celebrated his 100th Grand Slam match with an easy win at the Australian Open. The 6-time Grand Slam champion sailed past Courtine Moutet in the third round in Melbourne. He comfortably won the match 6-2, 6-4, 6-1 in 2 hours and 5 minutes. Alcaraz now has an 87-13 record in majors, and now he has equalled Bjorn Borg's record for the best start in the Open era through 100 matches. The 22-year-old will face 19th seed Tommy Paul for a place in the quarterfinals. Notably, Alcaraz has never gone past the last 8 in the previous 4 trips to Melbourne Park. While Alcaraz's third-round match was a straightforward one, it was a tough battle for 2021 US Open champion Daniil Medvedev. The Russian became the first player at this year's Australian Open to win a match after trailing by 2 sets. He battled past Hungary's Fabian Morzan to reach the fourth round. He won the third-round clash 6-7, 4-6, 7-5, 6-0, 6-3. It is the fifth time in his career that Medvedev has come back from 2 sets down to win a Grand Slam match. Waiting for Medvedev in the fourth round is a familiar foe, Leonard Teen. The American upset him in the second round 5-setter in Melbourne last year. Lastly, in cricket, England's struggles continued as they lost to Sri Lanka in the first one-day international in Colombo. This comes weeks after their Ashes defeat in Australia. After being put to bat first, Sri Lanka posted a total of 271 for 6. Kusal Mendes top scored for the hosts with an unbeaten 93, chasing 272. England were restricted by Sri Lanka's spinners despite Ben Duckett 62 and Joe Root 61. Both fell to sweep shots and the runs rate soon climbed up out of reach. England lost 7 wickets for 108 runs and were bundled out for 252. They lost the match by 19 runs. Well, with that, we've come to the end of the sports segment. It's back to you, Jyotsna.
Well, thank you so much, Athra, for all these sports updates, and Miraj and Nadia for all the updates from tech and business. All right, with that, we call a wrap to this bulletin. But don't go anywhere. News and updates will follow on the other side. You're watching Beyond World is One. Stay tuned.